What the hell happened to Jamahal Hill? Recently, he set a new record of becoming one of, if not the most saltiest fighters on the UFC roster by constantly arguing with other fighters either in smaller weight classes or fighters in the same weight class, to even arguing with his own fans on social media for stating simple facts. But with most UFC fighters, there's always a reason as to why they become disliked by so many fans. So let's talk about how Jamahal Hill went from being a fighter that was humble and respectful and everyone cared about, to a salty and embarrassing former champion that became disliked by every UFC fan. After the weird situation with the light heavyweight division 2 years ago, where Yuri Prochazka was forced to pull out of his rematch against Glover Teixeira, who were both scheduled to have their rematch at UFC 282 after their razor thin of a fight at UFC 275 earlier that year. He ended up vacating the belt, allowing Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz to get a title shot at becoming light heavyweight champion. But that fight ended in a split draw, thus allowing Glover to get another shot at becoming light heavyweight champion. But this time, it was going to be against Jamahal Hill. And while the fight was dominantly won by Hill, a lot of people would actually go on to discredit his achievement of becoming champion by saying that he beat an older, out of prime Glover. And while that is true, Glover put up an incredible performance and almost showed no sign of old age throughout the entire fight, which helped in showing the fans that Jamahal Hill is champion material. But unfortunately, just like with Yuri Prochazka the year prior, Jamahal would end up getting injured by rupturing his Achilles tendon and ended up making a decision to vacate the light heavyweight belt before being able to defend it, which was honestly the start of his arrogance and saltiness towards the other fighters in his division, due to him not being able to defend his belt and truly show how great he is against younger opponents like Yuri Prochazka. And after Alex Pereira beat Yuri Prochazka at UFC 295 in November last year, the stars seem to have aligned perfectly for a revenge story between Pereira and Hill, which now brings us to UFC 300, where I think everyone and their mama knows what happened at that fight already. But in case you don't know, you forgot. During the 300 press conference, Jamahal Hill started to talk a lot of shit towards Pereira, mainly to sell the fight more, considering a lot of people actually thought the main event for 300 was pretty underwhelming when it was first announced. But majority of Jamal's trash talk ended up failing after he got finished by Pereira in the first round. And ever since that fight, Hill has been on a streak of becoming less and less likable by MMA fans due to his constant saltiness by having daily arguments with fans on social media and his comments, to dropping constant videos on YouTube trashing Yuri, Ankalaev, and predominantly Alex Pereira. With the announcement a few days ago of Yuri Prochazka versus Jamahal Hill at UFC 311 in January, Hill went on to drop 2 videos yapping about how he had a better performance against Pereira compared to Yuri, which I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, while also continuing to target Pereira and Ankalaev by putting out toxic and salty tweets and even pulling up on Pereira at the UFC Performance Institute to try to trash talk in person. But that didn't quite go the way Hill planned, because he immediately backed down once Alex handed him the gloves so they can fight. And while some could look at all of this as promo for Hill to get another title shot at the belt or try to start a rivalry with Pereira by playing the role of a villain, Hill's way of doing it by arguing with his own fans that's been with him from the start and constantly dragging and trying to spin the narrative that Pereira cheated at 300 definitely isn't the way to get that second opportunity against Alex. But let me know what you guys think about Jamahal Hill's recent antics in the UFC, and please like and sub up, and thank you for watching.